I have to say, that was the most enjoyable tour I think I've ever done in my life. I go all over the world to the hi-fi shows. I see some of the most expensive audio components that money can buy. And here at GTT Audio, going to these different rooms, I really got a feel for the setup expertise of Bill Parrish and his passion for audio and bringing good sound to people who enjoy music. Bill, it's fantastic, and each room is a little bit different than the other.
Well, thank you, Peter.
We just wrapped up in the Grimm room, and here, take a look. You can see how the speaker fits right into any environment, and here's a very livable space. It's a beautiful room here. You can see as we look throughout the room, you can see the nice cadenza that's set here, and over to the right you can see the fireplace, and it doesn't look like there's an audio system in the room, but it sure sounds like music. That is signature of Grimm.
Absolutely. Thanks for noticing that, Peter.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking me into that room, because it proved to me, after many hi-fi shows and meeting the principals of Grimm over the past year or so, how it really works in the home.
Absolutely. I mean, at the shows, we show it just like we would show any other product at a trade show. But to really get the real meaning or the real use of Grimm, I think you captured it today. It is a lifestyle product. It sounds like an audiophile product. I mean, it's perfectly flat. You can adjust the bass up and down though to fit the room. It's designed by Bruno Putzis. It's so you know it's good. It's an entire system, but it doesn't look like an audio system.
Well, that's the key to it. It looks like just part of an executive home, or a beautiful living room, or a beautiful living space, and you don't even notice the audio equipment. I mean,
no, we sit up there as a family.
Nifty, yeah.
And, we listen to music.
Yeah.
The kids know Bruno. They're excited to. They've met Bruno. They've seen Bruno work on things, and so they understand what Bruno does, and they're excited to listen to the Grimms because Bruno made the Grimms.
Oh, that's nifty. So it's a family kind of a endeavor and a family appreciation of Grimm and the way Grimm brings music to any room in your home.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about the music. I mean, that's everything I do with all these audio systems, all the equipment. They're just tools. They're tools to recreate the music and try to recreate it as a live event.
When I first came in and we started our tour, we looked around the room and we saw records. And you can't see it, but it's hidden in a closet. The hard drives that contain the music. I mean, there are stacks of hard drives that tall, full of music. Bill really is a true music lover.
Yeah, we listen to live music all the time. I mean, I'm at Carnegie Hall 20 plus times a year, at the Met. We go to jazz clubs. When we do these trade shows, we were at Expona and took a ride to Chicago and heard the symphony. I fly to Monterey Jazz Fest and hear music. It's just music, 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 and that is the true reference. You've commented how I set up rooms and how the rooms sound, and I'm not trying to get my system to sound like another system, or a system that I remember how it sounded. I'm trying to get it to create live music.
Well, I think that's really the hallmark of this tour, is the amount of music. Because what we would do is we would go through the room. Bill would explain the equipment. I learned a lot about how he cares about his clients. We met a couple clients who were friends of Bill because of the client relationship and the trust they have in his setup expertise, his love of music. And we would stop and we would then play music. So what I thought we would take, a little bit of time to do one room, we'd end up be hours, and we'd play track after track after track, and And we were up to wee hours of the morning last night listening to music and just lost in it. And on the big system, as Bill calls it, the big Sonia 1.3s that I reviewed last year for AV showrooms. They sound just like I remember them from last year, and I described them in the review. And it's a highly desirable speaker. But again, it was back to the music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another component that helps us get there is the Kronos turntable,
Mhm.
which I now import.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've always been a vinyl fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
As you see the wall of,
Yeah, that's great.
of analog records behind us, and throughout all the rooms, there's vinyl everywhere.
Well,
Very seldom is digital played unless clients are coming in, you know, and I encourage them to bring their own CDs, but it's, I feel that analog has a more natural feel to it.
Yeah, you know, I don't disagree with that. I do have, my digital sounds very good because I use an AudioNet DNC, and it's a computing engine, and it just brings even a PCM file to life. And in my room, I have a very warm sounding room. You've seen it in the videos. It has the bay windows, and it's a traditional floor. There's ground dirt 5 foot beneath the floor. It's a 1955 built home, and I get a lot of warmth out of it. So I don't have a lot of digititis edge. And when I put that DNC, that AudioNet DNC in my system, it's very close to the turntables. And we had the Kronos Sparta, the prototype before the production model that you'll see here. It was just wonderful how the digital was portrayed. And speaking of Kronos,
I would agree.
yeah, I know. But speaking of Kronos, we first saw Kronos at CES 2 years ago. Louis Desjardins from Montreal had this very unique turntable. Now we all know what it looks like. We now know all about it. The counter-rotational platter underneath on a suspended design. So, you know, the problems with suspended designs, they're suspended. So there's a little bit of give and take when the motor starts. There's a pulley that has to go over here to the motor or the motor platform that like we have in some turntables. But the starting and the stopping, there's a little stretching, there's a little motion, there's a movement, and when that platter is spinning on a suspended turntable, there's gyroscope effects at hand. And so torque is occurring while that platter is spinning. And having the counter rotational platter takes it away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
goes the opposite way and gives you perfect stabilization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a direct drive turntable, but with huge space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And is it cool to
And
look
you've
at?
got
Look,
great
man.
bass as well.
Yeah, it's great, and it's just
quick.
Yeah, I think it's one of the go-to products in the top analog world today. You have to take a look at it. You have to get your arms around it. You have to talk to Bill, or you have to talk to Louis to find out a little bit more about it. You have to watch our videos, and if you're at a show, stay in the room and listen to a couple songs on the Kronos. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and we have a dealer network with Kronos already. We're adding more.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and if you're looking to hear the Kronos and you haven't heard it, and if you don't have a dealer in your area, give us a call. Tell us who the dealer is that you like to work with. We'll try to arrange it through them, but bottom line is we will make sure that you hear the Kronos.
And if you're lucky enough, or if you have business in New York, you're only 45 miles from New York City.
Yeah, straight shot right out Route 80.
Yeah.
And it's an easy drive as long as you don't come during rush hour. New Jersey traffic and rush hour can be difficult, but outside of that, it's a 45-minute shot straight, and you know we're appointment only.
Well, this is what I like. Another thing I wanted to touch on here was during our visit and our tour, it wasn't like I was going to a hi-fi store. And it wasn't like there was a staff milling around behind the desk, and they didn't qualify me as I walked in the store, because I already knew I wanted to see these lines of equipment. I had already talked to Bill on the phone. You don't just go and knock on Bill's door. You have to have an invitation to experience this level of audio equipment and music enjoyment. And I think that that's a key to the experience here, is coming here. So it's easy to get to. But it's so cool because it's all these rolling hills and little winding roads. It's like a respite from the audio dealer experience. I think it's a better way of doing business.
Well, I do too. I mean, we're showing and selling home products. These aren't commercial products. These are home products.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we show them in a commercial environment?
Mhm.
We're showing them in a home environment.
Mm-hmm.
We're showing them the way they can sound in your home.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, several people in the industry have said that this is really an audio candy store. Well, there's a lot of dealers that have lots of great audio equipment, but I felt a different vibration here. I felt more of a home environment. I felt like I was welcome here, and I felt like I could learn as well as ask questions and get information back. Because Bill's knowledge base in equipment is extensive. I'm a 30-year reviewer, and Bill to me is still, he can guide me. So don't have it in your head that you know everything. I think it's very important to trust other people, and as a reviewer, I have to open up and look outside of my world of looking at a piece of audio equipment, talking to the manufacturer, getting a set of evaluations, telling you on the camera what I feel about it. But I'm not at all, I mean, I don't know everything. I don't have every amplifier that comes in and out of, that are on the pages of the magazines or that are in all of our videos. I have to trust other people's opinions. And that's one thing I do with Bill.
Well, thanks. We try to make it a point to hear everything that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're selling pleasure machines, not headaches. And there's a lot of great components out there. And a lot of these components really sound good,
Mm-hmm.
but they maybe don't have a sound company behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not very reliable. They sound good, but then, are in the shop a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And our clients work hard, and they work long hours, and they come home at night, and this is their salvation, this is their relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing they want to be doing is working on their components or boxing it up, sending it into the shop,
Mm-hmm.
being without it for months. So when I go to look at a line,
Mm-hmm.
obviously it has to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
But then I start to investigate who's the company behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start to contact some people that have used it and see about reliability issues, if there have been any.
Mm-hmm.
And then how are things handled? It's really important to have a good company behind the product.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's the part of what the value added to having a guide is doing the due diligence, doing the background checks, if you can call it that, and finding out not directly from the manufacturer himself, but from other people that have sold the equipment, or other dealers, other distributors throughout the world. Bill travels to all the major hi-fi shows in Munich every year. I see you at CES.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and you get to touch and feel, but for one specific reason, for the products he has or the products he's interested in. So when he goes to a hi-fi show, it's very different than me. Bill's very narrow. He's focused on looking at, well, if he wants a turntable, he's only going to look at this turntable. He's already pre-screened the turntables from the show guide prior to attending a show. Where if I'm looking at a turntable, I'm looking at introducing you guys to as many turntables as I can with a video camera or through the show reports that I used to do when I would write for the magazines. So I would tick the boxes off and I would go through, and it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't single-mindedly focused on thinking about what I would want to take on for my clients. And I think that's what separates you and me when we walk the shows.
Sure, but the shows are great for discovering stuff.
Aren't they? They're
like
great.
we've talked about as through this walkthrough.
Yeah.
I mean, Mola Mola,
Mm-hmm.
discovered in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
Orlik,
Mm-hmm.
I knew of Orlik, but discovered the Aries in Munich, and
Mm-hmm.
and basically made me pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a great product. AudioNet,
Mm-hmm.
German,
Mhm.
Munich. And in the list of Grimm, I found that in Munich.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of great things that you can discover at the shows.
Well, I like your lines. You don't have 30 different lines. You're focused on high quality lines that are going to be here tomorrow.
Absolutely. Speaker cables. Most stores have 5-6 different brands of cables. We have Kabbalah Sosna. Neutral, dynamic, true to the music, similar values to mine, and they have 8 different SKUs. They cover every price point. We don't need other cables. You know, Kronos, they have 2 models. They cover the high end. We're not selling entry level turntables here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have different electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Tenor, that's our tube line. Macintosh has tube gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, AudioNet comes in price point just under Solution the top end. We try to find a product in every category that represents the best, the state of the art.
Well, I think you've done it. You've succeeded. You continue to do so. Your brand turnover is very low. Your customer service is very high. I don't know what more you could ask for. I really don't. And to boot, Bill's a great guy to do business with, and he's a great guy, a knowledge base of music, and because he really is a true music lover.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bill Parrish from GTT. I hope you visit too. I think you'll enjoy it as much as I did.
And give a call, make an appointment. We'd be happy to show you around.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.